I hope everyone is doing great today. I am so happy to have you here, and I'm very excited for today's live because the topic we're going to talk about is something that is very intriguing, very interesting, and actually very fascinating. So today we're going to be together for around 1 hour. I hope you can stick around until the end, because at the end of the live, I have an invitation for you. So stick around, watch till the end, and interact as much as you can. Let me know if you have any questions. I might be asking you questions around, like, as we go through the webinar. So if you have answers for me, or if you have any questions, please go ahead and send them to me, and I will attend to them at the end of the webinar. And also, it's very important that we are so alert, because today I'm going to be talking about self-discovery, and self-discovery in the life of anyone who is going through a major shift in their life. Self-discovery and self-development, well, self-discovery mainly, is a very, very important step to elevate us, and to move us from where we are today to the place where we really want to be, and where we aspire to go. So it's very important that we go through this journey of self-discovery so that we can really, really understand what's going on inside, and who we truly are, and where we truly want to be, where we truly want to go. So before I dive deep into all of this, I want to tell you a story about how I realized what my purpose is, or how I started my own self-discovery journey. And the funny thing is that I remembered something very, very important and very critical for myself, for my life. I remembered it really not too long ago. I was, in fact, doing a live on Facebook, and I was talking about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was talking about self-discovery. And there and then I remembered something that I used to say a lot when I was a kid. So when I was around 6 or 7 years old, I used to always tell my parents, I came here to teach people. Now, because my parents were teachers, nobody actually took my comment like in a serious way, or nobody actually thought that it meant anything, right? But in fact, what was happening was that the exact words that I used at the age of 6 or 7 were very, very specific. So I used those words, and I'm Lebanese, so my words were, obviously I was expressing in Arabic, and my words meant exactly this. I came here to teach people. I did not say I want to become a teacher like my mom or my dad. I did not say when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. You know, the words that we say when people ask us what you want to do when you are older, or that's not what I said. I was very, very peculiar in my choice of words. And by saying I came here to teach people, that meant something very big. Now, I totally forgot about this. And years and years and years later, when I started my own discovery journey, I did not remember those words. But I went into that journey and I did my personal discovery. I went and I did that diving, and I did dig inside to understand why I'm here, what am I doing here, and what are the things that are important to me, and what are the things that are going to elevate my experience on this planet. And the funny thing is that when I was doing that live, maybe a few months back, those words came to me literally on the live. And I was like, I would love to find that live and share it with you on the group one day. But I remembered there and then that that was my mission. And my mission basically is my purpose. And we're going to be talking about this later on today. So when I realized that this was my purpose, I realized it later in my life. And this is what made me start all of this. This is what made me start this journey of becoming the person who can lend a hand to people who really are going through the same things that I have been through in my life, that I went through in my life. And for me to get here, I had to go through a very long process. And I had to do a lot of work on myself, a lot of work on the way I lived, a lot of work on the way I thought, the way I think, or thought, because now I don't think that way anymore. And I had to do a lot of digging into my own person, into my own life, into my own experiences, to understand really who I am and really why my existence here is important and what is my real mission in this life. And this is what I did. So I started really doing that self-discovery journey. And to do a self-discovery journey, you want to be in a place where you are eager. You are eager to know really what you want. You are eager to know really what moves you, what pushes you, what are your triggers, what are the things that are important to you, what are the things that are not important to you, what are the things that you can live without, and what are the things that you really, really need in your life to thrive and to become the best version of who you already are. I always say, and I truly believe, that we are all good people. We all have a good, how do you call it? We all have good base, a good base. And we are all starting from a very solid base. What happens is, as we go through life, we meet different circumstances in our lives, and we meet different obstacles, and we meet different people, obviously, as well. And from these, we start experiencing different things in our lives. And as we move forward, we start accumulating beliefs and conditioning that is not necessarily ours, that is not really in line with the base that we started from. So when we arrive to this planet as children, we all know, and we all say this about children, like, children are angels. They are pure souls. They are pure beings. And as the time evolves with them, or they evolve with time, what happens is, during their life, they start acquiring things from everything around them. They start acquiring habits, they start acquiring emotions, they start acquiring feelings, they start acquiring everything that they see around them. They are sponges. So children, from the age of, specifically from the age of 2 to 7, because 2 is when the brain is more developed and it can really grasp. From the age of 2 to 7, we start as children absorbing everything that we see or we experience, and accordingly we form our thoughts, we form our emotions, we form our the way we deal with things, and hence we form our personality. And all of this is because of everything that happens around us. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because it's very important when we dive into the self-discovery process. We will be going backwards. because when you dive within, you're not really diving within, you're really diving where everything started. And it is within because it's there, it's lying in your subconscious mind. You don't really know it, but it's lying in your subconscious mind. And a lot of the things that are happening in your subconscious mind are actually leading your life today. Like almost everything that happens in your subconscious mind is leading who you are today and is leading you to the next step in your life. Self-discovery, why it is important, because the minute you start asking these questions, and the minute you kind of stop, right, and you start asking big questions, you start asking the major question that everyone who is on a self-discovery journey asks is, why am I here? What is the purpose of my existence? What is the purpose of my life? Why, what is the difference that I'm going to make in this world? These are big questions that people hardly ask themselves these questions. Why? Because I don't like the comparison, but it's really it's like we are a herd of sheep and we're just going with the flow that life has set for us. Those of us who reach a point of illumination, and that eureka moment, oh, okay, now I need to do something. We are very lucky. And I truly believe that every single person out there is bound to reach that place. And the very interesting thing is, even in this group today where you are, in this Facebook group, you will see people from all different aspects of life. You will see people from different ages who are now looking at making a difference in their lives and changing their lives to a better, or moving to a better place, and really diving into their person, their aspirations, their dreams, their purpose in life. You would see people who are 65 years old. You would see people who are 30. You would see people who are 50. So really, every single one of us will reach a point where we're going to stop. We're going to take a breath and we're going to start thinking, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Why did I come to this planet? What is my purpose? What do I want to leave behind? When I started asking myself these questions, I got to where I am today. These major questions are what led me to do what I'm doing today, are what led me to develop something that I'm so proud of, because I know it is going to help a lot of people. And this is my mission. This is why I came here. I came here to teach people. And by teach, I don't mean teach them like French or English or mathematics. Teach them the real things. Teach them how to overcome obstacles. Teach them how to become the best versions of who they are. Teach them how to unleash all the powers that they have and unleash all the passions that they have. This is why I'm here. This is my own self-discovery. And today I'm inviting you to start asking yourself these questions. Why? What is it that I'm here to do? And the most important part, this is the general umbrella of us discovering ourselves. Now, to dive deeper into the topics that I want to talk about today, that I want to focus on today, the first topic that I want to focus on in this huge self-discovery journey is the number one thing that we want to do. When we are diving deep inside to understand what our aspirations are, or what our mission is, or what our purpose is, the first thing that we would want to know is, we would want to understand who we truly are. And this is where authenticity comes in. The minute we dive into ourselves, we start seeing things and we start discovering things about us that it's not that we didn't know them about us, it's just that we never actually asked them about us, or we never actually, like, we know them but we don't remember them. So the self-discovery journey is actually a journey of remembrance. It's a journey of refreshing our mind of who we truly are. And when I say who we truly are, it means we're diving into our authenticity. And what does that mean? What does it mean, knowing or being authentic? First of all, to be authentic, you want to first know who you truly are. So when you do this dive within, you want to understand what your passions are. You want to understand what your dreams are. You want to know, what values do you hold? What are the values that are keeping you alive or that are moving your life forward? What are the values that you hold dear to your heart, the things that you will never negotiate on, the things that you will not accept not to have in your life? Like, for example, for me, like, one of my values is to be surrounded by people who are true and real and honest. Like, for me, honesty, for example, is one of the values that I will never give up on. So I will not be able to handle having, not that I will not be able, it's a choice that I make, not to have people who are dishonest in my life, not to have people who lie in my life. Lying for me, for example, is a no-no. And for me to understand that, or to know that, I really had to dive deep and understand what my values are. So truth, for example, and honesty is an important value for me. And what you want to do when you are diving into your own self is you want to find those very specific values. And I encourage you, when you do this exercise, I encourage you to have, like, journal it. Okay, have a piece of paper and start writing those down. Like, what are my passions? What are the things that bring me joy, that bring me fulfillment, that bring me life, that make me feel alive? What are those things? Write them down. Write down every value that you hold dear to your heart, the value that you will not live without, that you will not accept it being missing from your life. Write them down. Write down, what are the things what are your strengths? What are the things that you are good at? What are the things that are important to you, that you are good at, the values, and what is your purpose? This question is such an important question. And a lot of people, believe me, never stop and ask themselves, why? Why am I here? And even when we have plans, even when we sit and put a plan for us for the future, and I truly believe that hardly anyone does this anymore. Like, nobody sits anymore and puts a plan for their future. We just go with the flow, right? And please let me know in the comments, or in the chat, or in the questions. Let me know if you think really that we do have the time, or we actually do make plans for our lives. I would love to hear from you. Do we really sit and make plans for ourselves, or we just go with the flow and we move forward and take on whatever life throws at us? This is not self-discovery. Self-discovery is really going within, taking the time that you need. And time is of essence here, because a lot of people think, that they cannot take a break and sit and do this exercise. But believe me, and I kid you not when I tell you that the change that you will feel once you go through this exercise, the way your life changes is inevitable. And it's something that's gonna make you look at everything that you do moving forward in a completely different way. So I urge you, if you are that person, if you are on your self-discovery journey, or if you are on your self-development journey, go ahead and just give yourself some time to truly understand who you truly are. And that's what I mean by being authentic and by understanding everything about yourself. I spoke about understanding your passions, understanding your values and your strengths, but you also want to understand what your limitations are. You also want to know what your weaknesses are. And this is how you become more authentic. The more you know about who you are, and the more you embrace that and you live with that, this is what authenticity is all about. So every time you want to really understand who you truly are, you want to do this. Now, it takes a lot of courage to do this exercise. Believe me, because when we start doing this exercise, sometimes we will meet things along the way that will not make us feel happy about ourselves. We will find things about us that are maybe, that will bring us maybe some sadness, or that will bring us some turmoil. We will discover things about us that we might not be happy with. But this is the importance of this exercise, because every time we find something about ourselves, there is also a way for us to make things better for us. The more we know, the more we have, as like the how do I say it? The more we know about us, the easier it becomes for us to develop and change. Like, it's very simple. If you don't know anything about something, how can you make a difference, or how can you change it, or how can you fix it, right? You want to know everything about you. And I'm not saying this, that I don't mean that we need fixing. We can use a bit of development, we can use an elevation, and if that means fixing, then yes, we fix. But when we do this dive, we understand what everything is about, everything that is not controlling, everything that is us. We want to know that. Everything that makes us who we are, we want to know these details. So again, the exercise is very simple. Open your journal if you are journaling, and if you're not journaling, take a piece of paper, something that you will not lose, something that you will keep, and something that will be with you, and you can always update it. And start writing down all your passions, all your strengths. I'm repeating myself because this exercise is very important for you to understand really who you truly are. And once you have that list, you want to embrace it. You want to love it. You want to accept it. You want to accept it for what it is, because once you accept it, then you can move past it. Then you can start fixing things for yourself. Then you can start clearly understanding where the tricks are, or where the triggers are, or where is it that you need to tweak. What is it that needs fixing here? What is it that needs fixing there? So if you don't really know anything about yourself, you won't be able to fix anything. You won't be able to elevate anything, right? So that's why this journey into your authentic self is very important. Now, once you do that, it's very important that you might, like I said, reach places that are not very nice. And the most important thing is when you do this dive, you will find out every limitation that you could possibly have developed in your life. So your limiting beliefs, and I always talk about limiting beliefs, all the limiting beliefs that you have, like I said at the beginning, they are all sitting there somewhere in your subconscious mind. If you don't stop and ask yourself the big questions, you will not find them, you will not see them. Now, the only thing is that sometimes this specific exercise of figuring out our limitations or figuring out our limiting beliefs specifically, sometimes it's not something that we can do on our own. For this specific thing, we might need someone to help us. We might need a guide. We might need a mentor. We might need someone to really show us the way and tell us. And this is why people go to psychologists. This is why people go and do, sessions, energy healing sessions on understanding their subconscious mind. That's the importance of these sessions, is that you have someone who is able to hold space for you and guide you to really dig deep inside and find those limitations. Now, why is it important to find those limitations? Because as they are called, they are limitations, right? And I know today is to talk about self-discovery, but when we do self-discovery, one of the things that we will discover is our limitations. And it's very important that you know that our limitations are not set in stone. Our limitations or our limiting beliefs are changeable. We can easily change them. We can definitely remove them. We can definitely replace them with good programs to run our lives, with good things about us, that will help us move forward in a better way for us, in an elevated way for us. So always remember, when you are on your self-discovery journey, you will find out everything good about you, but you will also find the cons and the negatives. And remember, when you are an authentic person, it means that you are embracing everything about you. So authenticity and diving into authenticity is the first thing that we want to do when we are on a self-discovery journey. The second thing that we want to do is we want to unleash this passion that we have found. When we do this dive deep within and we find out everything about ourselves, we found our passion and we found our purpose. Like me, when I figured out that I came here to teach people, I remembered that this was my purpose. Is my soul's purpose. This is why my soul decided to come to this planet as Maysoon and go through my life exactly as I went through my life, so that I can come to this point of realization that this is why I'm here. And the why, which is my purpose, is caused by everything that I have been through in my life. And everything that I have been through in my life is the content, it's the juice of my purpose. It is everything behind why I am doing this today, because this is my learning experience. This is how I learned everything that I have learned until today, was because I've gone through this very specific life of mine. And I've gone through it in this very specific way, so that I reach here today with these very specific learnings that I am paying forward, that I am providing the people who come to me and ask for my support and ask for my guidance and ask for me to hold space for them as they evolve in their own lives. And this is why This was my purpose. This is my passion. Now, for those of you who know me, or for those of you who have seen me before, you might know that I used to, and I still do from time to time, work in events, right? I used to do events management for corporations. I used to work in the corporate world, and I also started working for myself in the events field. And I used to love that. I used to love doing that. And for some reason, well, now I know what the reason is, because obviously that was not my purpose, right? This is my purpose. What I'm doing today is my purpose. So at one given point in time, I lost all the interest that I used to have in that kind of work. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because we have this saying, that people always tell us, love what you do. So I always say, do what you love. Who are you? Like on the call today, who are you? Are you the do what you love, or the love what you do? I'm gonna ask you this question here, and let's see if you can answer it. I'm not sure how to do this though. Let's keep it for now without the question. But tell me if, okay, who are you? Are you the do what you love, or love what you do? Okay, let me know who you are in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I used to love what I do. I used to love doing the events, right? And it was something fun to me, and it was really I think I sent the message to the wrong people. Okay, so I used to be that person. I used to be the person who used to do what I loved. I used to love events. I still love events. I just don't do that anymore. I do it if I have to, but I don't do it like as my real thing. But what I do today is I am doing what I love, not loving what I do. You see the difference? I used to love what I did, but now I am doing what I love. I am pursuing my passion. And this is why the discovery part of being and diving and going into your authentic self, this is why it's very important, because now I know what is important to me. And now I know that this is my mission. And I am doing my mission and my passion in this life. And that is to teach people and to help people elevate and to help people become the best version of who they are. So that's why figuring out your passion is very, very important. Now, when you find that thing that you love, this is what you want to do. This is the best thing that you can figure out for yourself, is to find that passion of yours. The one thing that we encounter when we are going through these exercises, there's something very important that happens. And because we don't live alone, because we are not people who are secluded from the world, we will always face a lot of sometimes rejection. Sometimes people will look at us and think, what are they doing? What's happening? Who are they? We don't know them anymore. This is what happens when you go into your self-discovery, and when you start finding who you truly are and what your passion is. The minute you have that, you as a person will start having a better sense of direction. You will start knowing where you are going. Simply, you will not be that person who is just following the flow anymore. You will become, because you are authentic and you are embracing your uniqueness, you will become unique. It's very simple. And the minute you become unique, there's this sense of clarity that becomes very obvious to you, that, oh my God, now I understand. And now I know. And the funny thing is, when you start realizing what your purpose is, it becomes like an exercise of putting the dots on the i's. You will start looking at your life and thinking, wow, okay, now I understand why this happened, because this is the result. And now I understand why this happened, because this is where I'm supposed to be now. And now I understand why I went through this, because I needed to learn 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that clarity, my friends, is a result of you diving deep inside and unleashing your powers and unleashing your passion and figuring out everything about really what it is that drives you, what it is that makes you want to leave an imprint in this lifetime on this planet, you know? And what happens then is you start, you feel a sense of satisfaction that is amazing. Why? Because you are no longer looking for anything from the outside world. You are no longer comparing yourself to anyone. You are no longer waiting for validation from anyone. You are now you. You are now the center of everything. You are now the person who is leading everything in your life, because you understand who you are, because you know who you are, because you know your talents, because you know your passions, because you know your strength, because you know your weaknesses. And that clarity, that satisfaction that you get from knowing everything about you and realizing that this knowledge is not only knowledge. You know, knowledge is power, right? And knowledge is what brings you to move forward. Knowledge is your, I don't like to use the word weapon, but knowledge is your strength. And the knowledge that you have about you, it's kind of like your shield. Let's not call it your weapon, let's call it your shield. It's your protection. It's the thing that will make you move forward in your life without being subjected to others, without being that person who needs other people to validate them, or who needs other people to give them, you know, that push, or give them good words, or tell them good things about themselves. Your satisfaction will become something that will come from within, because now you know everything about you and you are embracing that. And with that comes a lot of self-love and a lot of self-respect and a lot of, if I tell you really, every day I wake up in the morning and I am so grateful. And gratitude, remember always to be grateful. Gratitude is such an important value for me in my life. And I'm sure it is important for you, because gratitude is, on its own, is a magnet. The more grateful you are, the better things are around you, and the easier things become for you, because gratitude helps you become more magnetic. So every morning when I wake up, I list everything that I'm grateful for, and I ask for more, because I am here to give more. So I always ask for more, and I'm always grateful for everything that I ask for, because I know it's coming. And this is one of the things that happens when you start diving within and realizing what your passion is, and what your mission is, and what your purpose is. Your direction becomes very specific for you. And what happens simultaneously, the minute you discover everything about yourself, your whole being changes. you don't do it intentionally. You don't change intentionally. You don't wake up in the morning and say, today I'm going to become this person. It happens naturally, as you go through this process. What happens naturally is you start changing. You start becoming a person who is more aligned with the things that you have discovered about yourself. Now you are aligned with them because you know them. And that's why this is very important. This knowledge is like owning diamonds, because it will change everything about you in your life. And that change, the minute that change occurs, you will start seeing differences happening even around you. Your change will start impacting everything in your life. So as you change, everything changes with you for your life. And if you are within yourself, diving into a good place, diving into a purpose that is elevated, that is of high nature and high vibration, the only thing that will come next is going to be good. Like, no matter what comes next is going to be good. It's inevitable. It's something that will happen. And I've noticed when I started my journey at the very beginning, my friends used to, like, when I would go and sit with my friends, I'm a very outgoing person and I talk and I, as you can see. But also when I'm with my friends, I'm like really loud and I always want to say what comes to my mind, and I always want to talk, and I used to be that person who always has something to say. Now when I started my discovery journey, I became more serene, and I became calmer, and I became more of an observant rather than someone who would just wants to, throw up everything that they have in their mind, I became that person who would go and sit like with 6, 7, 8 people, and maybe for the whole night, not say a word. And my friends were like, oh my God, Maysoon, what's happening? Like, you've changed a lot. And yes, I have. And yes, I have. And I proudly say it. I am so proud of the change that I made, because now I am more true to myself. Now I am more authentic. Although I was never that non-authentic person, but what I knew then was so little compared to what I know now. And this is my invitation to you, is to really dive deep and really go into that person that you are, and understand your purpose and understand your passion, and really why you came here. What is it that you are here to do? What is your authentic message in this world? And once you do that, the third point that I'm going to be talking about today, you want to embrace that growth and you want to embrace that resilience. Now, growth is very important. Everything that you have done in these two, like your self-discovery and understanding or unleashing your passion and embracing your passion and knowing what your mission is and what your purpose is, will lead to this. It will lead to your growth. It will lead to you elevating your experience on this planet, elevating everything about the life that you are living today. The minute you do this exercise, and again, remember that you have to go through a little bit of, self-realization. You will go through a little bit of understanding what your limitations are and removing those limitations. So it's a full exercise, and it could be sometimes a strenuous journey. And this is why resilience is very important. So that growth is very important because it will give you a mindset of continuous learning. And I always say this, I call this not the self-discovery journey, but the whole self-development journey. I call it literally like, the Pringles chips, crisps. So there's a very famous ad for Pringles, and it says, when you pop, you can't stop. And I compare this journey, the inner discovery journey, to Pringles. When you start, you cannot stop. When you pop, you don't stop. And that's the importance of it. And this mindset that you have is the mindset of continuous learning. And that's what will make you grow even more and more and more and more. And you will unleash everything that you know and you don't know about yourself, because now you will become aware of it. With that discovery, self-discovery journey, you will start becoming aware of everything about you, everything about who you are, everything about your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, like I said at the beginning, and your purpose. So when you know that, you will start growing, and then you will also develop, with this growth, you will develop a mindset of adaptability. You will start being able to adapt to anything, because now you're so strong and you're so aware that really, I'm going to talk about resilience in a minute, you will become able to adapt to anything that comes your way. And I tell you this from experience, and today, everything that happens, and I always say this, everything that happens in our life is a reflection of the things that we are thinking of. It's a reflection of the things that we desire, that we want. Whether we do it consciously or subconsciously, that's another story. But everything that happens for us in our life happens because it's a reflection of what we are thinking, or what we are aspiring for, or what we are, looking forward to, even if we don't really awarely do it, or we don't do it with full awareness, right? So even the obstacles that we create for ourselves in our life are something that we create because we are learning. So when you become that person, when you do this self-discovery and you understand your purpose and your mission, and on your path to growth, what happens is you build this adaptability and you build this resilience. And what I mean by resilience is, every time you face obstacles, and this is the importance of growth and resilience together, every time you face an obstacle moving forward in your life, you don't look at that obstacle in a way that it equals failure, or it equals you stopping, or you becoming desperate, or you not wanting to move forward because there's a hurdle and there's an obstacle in a way. You will start looking at obstacles as your learning exercise. You will look at obstacles in a way that the obstacle is an opportunity for you to grow. It's an opportunity for you to learn. It's not an obstacle anymore. It's not something that will make you fail. It's not a failure. It's not a setting for failure anymore. When we find obstacles in our way, and we haven't done our self-discovery journey, and we haven't really understood who we truly are, people tend to look at obstacles as their day of doom, or their nightmares, or oh, my life is a mess and I can't do this, and they give up because they really don't truly know who they are and really where they want to be. So if today I know where I want to be, and I know what my mission is, and I know everything about me, okay? And this is not selfishness, and this is not arrogance, and this is not egotism. No, this is knowledge. This is authenticity by itself, you know? So the more I am aware of who I am and of where I need to be and why I am here, what is my mission, what is my purpose, my growth becomes inevitable. And my growth with perseverance becomes something that comes so naturally to me. Nothing will stop me. Why? Because I'm seeing the results, because I am becoming the best version of who I am. And now I am remembering everything about me when I came to this world, before all my conditioning happened and before all my limitations have started piling up, until I became the person who had so many limitations before I started doing my discovery journey. And I'm talking about myself. I also mean you. I also mean every single other person in the world who's going through life just because they are going through life, without asking questions, without taking a breath and just stopping for a minute or two or a day or two and starting this questioning journey. I call the self-discovery journey the questioning journey. You know, when you ask those big questions, and those big questions, my dear, dear, dear pearls, they are the door. They're the door to this beautiful journey and amazing discovery and amazing. It's like it's not like a labyrinth, but somehow it's like a maze, but it's an amazing maze. It's not a difficult maze. It's not a tricky maze. It's you going into your authentic self, you understanding who you are, is the doorway to you becoming the best version of who you are, to you unleashing all your powers, unleashing all your passions, unleashing all your strength, and really become the champion that you are. You are, every single one of you, every single one of us is a champion in their own way, and is a champion. Most of us are hiding champions. We don't know how to get out. We are still not aware of the way to do it. And today I'm giving you a couple of those ways. So remember, number one, go deep down inside and ask yourself the big questions. What are my strengths? What are my passions? What are my values? And why am I here? And what are my weaknesses? And what are the things that will block me? What are my limitations? What are my limiting beliefs? What is it that stops me from moving forward? And remember, always remember, awareness is halfway through your development. When you become aware, that's literally crossing half the way. So do that exercise, put it on a piece of paper. Don't treat it like, okay, I'm gonna answer these questions in my mind and then I'm gonna see what happens. No, do it properly. Take that piece of paper, take that pen, and start writing them down. Okay? And there's a replay. I'm going to post a replay of this video tomorrow, of this webinar tomorrow. You can always watch this webinar again and do this exercise again with me as I'm explaining it to you. So you can just go ahead and start writing them. And then when you do that, you will realize what your main purpose is. What is that thing that moves you? What is that what is that mission? What is that emotion? What is that trigger that moves you, that makes you feel like you want to conquer the world? You want to find that out. And when you find that out, you want to do that, because that is what you love, and not the other way around. Love what you do. No, you want to find the thing that moves you, the thing that triggers you to move forward, to become a best version of you, to elevate yourself. And when you find that, this is what you want to do, this is what you want to be, this is who you want to be moving forward in your life. And when you do that, growth is inevitable, and growth is something that becomes your lifestyle. It becomes literally your lifestyle, and your mindset becomes the mindset of a person who is always learning, a person who sees the positives in everything. And there is a positive way for seeing the positives, and there's something negative about it. And this is something, by the way, that I also teach in my program, is the pros and cons of being a positive person, and what are the things that should be done as a positive person, and what are the don'ts of positivity, if you know what I mean. But that's something else. So you want to embrace growth, and you want to let it happen. You want to be that person who is willing to take on that growth. And with that, you become resilient. And resilience basically is being able to take on any obstacle and look at it from a different perspective. Instead of looking at obstacles from the perspective of, I am setting myself to failure, or this obstacle is going to make me fail. And then you surrender, and then you stop. And instead of moving forward, you move backwards, or you start procrastinating, or you become stagnant, or you develop stress, or you develop fear. So instead of doing that, when you do this exercise properly, you become resilient, and you start learning from everything that you go through, all your obstacles. And remember, like I always say, these obstacles, you create them for yourself, because there's a learning behind them. You want to remember that always, always remember. Like, I strongly advise every single person in my life, even my friends, when they come to me and they ask for my advice, like, Maysoon, what do you think? I mean, this is happening. What do you think? And I always ask them, don't ask me what I think. Ask yourself, why am I creating this? What am I learning? What am I gaining? What am I trying to teach me? I created this to teach me something. What is it that I need to learn? And the minute we become aware, that obstacle becomes our learning opportunity. That obstacle becomes the school that we need to go to, so that we can elevate, so that we can become the best version of who we are, so that we move from our stagnant position to our elevated state, to our high vibrational state, where we know who we are, where we know why we are here, and where we can fulfill our dreams, because now we know them. And now we understood the best way to move forward, among other things that we will be learning on this journey, because this journey, like I said, it doesn't stop. The minute we start going through it, there's no way of us stopping it. And with this, my friends, oh wow, it's already 1 hour. I can talk about this forever. Now, before I go, I want to give you that invitation. I told you, stick to the end, because I have an invitation for you. Today, like I said at the beginning, when we do this self-discovery journey, and I tell you from my own experience, when I did my own self-discovery journey, I did not do it on my own. I made so many steps. I took so many steps. I did so many courses. I took so many sessions with life coaches, with energy healers, with psychologists, everything you can think of. I did that. I went through the whole journey. I went through the whole exercise. And it was a very long process. And it took me a lot. It took a lot of work from me and a lot of time. But because I did that, and because when I did that, I discovered what my purpose is, I created a full program just based on everything that I've been through so that I can help other people instead of them having to go through the very long, tedious, well, not tedious. I love the process that I went through. The only thing is that it was very long. It took me a few years to be here today, to become the person that I am today. But what I did is, because I went through this and because I figured out how important this is, I created a full program to help people get out of their procrastination and their stagnation and move from here to become the best version of who they are. They already are, and you already are that person. So if this is you, if you are going through a period in your life where you are feeling that you are procrastinating, where you're feeling that you are under a lot of stress, you're always overwhelmed, you're always procrastinating, always pushing things for later, always repeating the same mistakes. And believe me, I used to be that person. If you are in those shoes today and you feel that Maysoon might have all the answers for me, all you need to do is, with the replay, I'm going to put a link of just a call that you can have with me, a live call with myself. And we can together see where you are, understand where you currently are in your life. What are the limitations that you are facing? What are the things that you are going through? And also, together we will see where you want to be. What is your aspiration? What's the dream? And during the call, I will be giving you a lot of tips for you to use now, today, to move forward in your life. And at the end of the call, if I find that I am the right person to guide you, I will show you what it looks like to work with me. So if this is something that is calling you, and if this is something that you feel will help you move forward in your life, all you need to do is click on that link and schedule this call, and we will have that discussion. I'll give you the tips that you need to have that will come through as we talk. And moving forward, I will see if I'm the right person, and you will feel it as well. If I'm the right person to guide you through this whole process, I will be very happy to do that, and very blessed and honored as well. And grateful. Remember, gratitude is very important. So if you think I'm that person for you, all you need to do is book that call, and we will take it from there. And with that, my dear friends, I don't want to keep you more. It's already past the hour. I really appreciate every single one of you for being here today, for answering any of the questions that I've asked. And remember, if you have any questions, please post them on the Facebook group or send me a personal message, and I'll be more than happy to answer you. And with that, I will say to you, have a blessed evening, day, night, and I will see you again next week. Ciao, ciao.